Whoa! Whoa! Welcome to Uncle Rico's Storytime. It's episode whatever. I'm fucking hot. So, hi buddy.
Hi. Oh, I want to squeeze you up.
So I've had a break-in the last 2 nights. I've been dealing with
Oh my God, your paws are so little and tiny.
had a dirtbag break into some units months and months ago, and I can't get rid of him. He's cut off his locks a bunch of times. Every time he gets overlocked, he cuts off his locks. And 2 nights ago, I'm doing my walkthrough his unit. He's got a big unit, and it's overlocked, and all 3 of the locks that I put on his unit are cut off. So I pop that open, and he's gone through his shit again. He breaks through the drywall in his unit and gets into the other units. And he broke into some more drywall and everything. So I shot off all of my, documented, took pictures, did everything the right way, shot everything off to my supervisors and asked them to if we can, clear out his unit. Can somebody watch the camera footage and figure out how he got in? Because I'm a caretaker for 3 different properties and I don't even have access to our camera system. Because our IT and our tech and all of that is so jacked up that I don't even have access to camera systems. We've got 2 different camera systems up there, and they won't give me a link or provide me any way to watch either of them. So I relocked them, did a pass through this morning, and he cut off all the locks again. Cut off locks on the next unit, broke into that, used that to break into another back unit behind him. Went through all of these bins and everything like that. Originally, when he first did this the first time, his neighbor is a girl who lost her mom, and he stole her guitar, her mom's guitar, her bike, just a bunch of stuff. The girl broke down and started crying in front of me, and you could tell she was trying to hold it together, so it just pisses me off. I want to break this dude's arm. I did my pass through this morning. He cut all the locks off again, went back into this chick's unit, pillaged it again. I sent off all the stuff, this time a lot more heated, trying to look for a response. I never get responses from my boss or anything, so typically I just do things myself, and I don't want to clear out this dude's unit before I get like an official okay, do it. But while I was researching, I found out that we have another tenant that used his code at 9:30 the last 2 nights to gain access to the property. He's all paid up and everything. So I go into this guy's notes, and he's been calling customer service saying that he can't get the code to unlock his DaVinci lock. He's been with us for 3 years. Or not 3 years, 3 months. Incidentally, that was the same time that this dude, dirtbag, can I say his name? Yeah, because he's a dirtbag. Caleb Fitzgibbons. You piece of shit lowlife. So this dirtbag so he goes back into it this morning. He's rented a cheap unit, since he owes like $400 in back stuff to get into his unit. He rents another cheaper unit for like $30 a month. That gives him access to the unit. So I pop open the other unit that he's rented, still has our lock that we provide initially upon move-in. So I pop that open, the unit is empty. So that's what made me go through his notes and find out he was using this excuse that he doesn't know what the code is, which is bullshit because I remember 2 nights ago I opened up his, I took the lock off of there and left the door open, and the wind blew it open and it swung open all night. And that was at 6 o'clock. He gained access to the property at 9:30. It says he used his code. So I'm fairly convinced that it's this other guy. He's rented out this other unit to gain access to our property. I shot all of this stuff off to my bosses, and we've been open now for 2 hours, and I'm still waiting for a response. I have to sit here and fucking do nothing. And I've been on top of this case. I've been on this guy's case since he did it the first time. This is the society we live in. I've called the cops 3 previous times, and they won't do anything. I live in a pocket where it's, is it Maricopa? No, it's Pinal County. So I have to deal with a sheriff. And the first time that I called this sheriff up, that I talked to the dispatcher, and I could hear a TV in the background, and I thought she was eating. And she just kind of basically blew me off. But I was persistent and made her send a guy out here. Second time I called them up, I had 3 tweakers doing smash and grabs on my property. They would drive their vehicles on, they would cut off locks, they would grab a bunch of stuff, and then they would drive off property real quick. So the second time that they did it, I closed the gate on them and they rammed my gate. And I call up the dispatcher, and she's like, sheriff's office. I said, hey, I just had burglary, breaking and entering, felony damage because they just rammed their way out of my gate. I've got all their information, plates, everything. I've got pictures on camera of their faces. And she goes, okay, we'll keep an eye out for them then. Is there anything else I can do? What? She goes, we'll keep an eye out for them. And I go, I didn't give you any of the goddamn information. I didn't give you make, model, nothing. What are you keeping an eye out for? And she goes, so you want me to send a deputy out to you then? And I go, yeah. 4 hours it took a deputy to get out here to me. So, but when I was talking to a cop on a different burglary thing, I had video of the guy breaking into it. He was this homeless guy that lived behind me in a tent. He had cut a huge hole in my chain link fence and came in. He scoped it out. He knew what time I did my rounds. I do my 10 o'clock round. I used to do a 10 o'clock round with a hockey stick and my big old pit bull. And he came... He walked through the fence right after I did my 10-15 walk. So he had everything scoped out. He popped off 6 units, sold a bunch of stuff, put it back through the chain link fence, my back fence. So I go back there, and there's a homeless tent back there, and there's a hat that the guy was actually wearing when he was on camera breaking into all my units. So called the cops. This was the first time that I called the cops, and I was like, okay, you guys really don't do shit. So talking to the cops, and they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It turned into this he said, she said thing. And I go, look, man, I'm beating the bush with this other dude. I go, look, man, like, between me and you, what does it, like, take for you guys to actually arrest somebody, you know? And he said, you need their face on camera committing the crime. And I had this guy, breaking into units and going into the unit, but his picture wasn't clear. Yeah, his face wasn't clear, I said, well, the hat, the clothing that he's wearing on the camera is right out front of this tent, this homeless tent, you know. And the guy goes, well, he could just very easily say the thief threw that there. So they play devil's advocate, and I get where they're going. They don't want to jam up the courts. They're, just not wasting their time. But, the fact is, these criminals go unscathed whenever they do this stuff. I then said, I'm like, well, get him the hell out of there. And he said, well, unfortunately, it's city property. And you would need somebody from the government to complain about his trespass in order for us to ask him to leave. And I said, well, do that. And he said, I wouldn't even know where to go to begin to find out who that would be. And I'm like, housing? Probably. But I remedied that problem. I took care of that situation. So with the tweakers, I call up, they ran through my gate, and I call up the sheriff's department. Deputy comes down. They don't do anything. So I talk to a couple of people here in town that are they are ins with tweakers. They know tweakers, former tweakers. And this one guy tells me, I show him the pictures of the tweakers when they broke into the units, and they recognize them, and they go, yeah, they hang out at this drug house that's here in town. So I go to the drug house and I ID the 2 cars that broke into my place. So I call up the sheriff's department and I said, hey, this is from a previous case. I solved it for you. I know where they're at, and da-da-da-da-da. And they're not going to do anything. So I call up the city where the house is. It's in the city, the police department jurisdiction. So I go to them, and I go, here's the deal, da-da-da-da-da. And she goes, oh, great, yeah, we can send a deputy over there. And I go, okay, now, I probably shouldn't mention this, but the sheriff's office was involved. And she goes, yeah, they've got jurisdiction. You've got to bring this information to the sheriff's department. I'm like, I honestly think their dispatcher is sitting in a trailer somewhere watching TV, and she's not. I mean, it takes 20, 30 minutes for her to even answer the non-emergency line. And she goes, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. We can't help you out. So I close up. She's like, it's an open burglary case. I can't do anything about it. So we hang up, and I start thinking, and I call her back, and I go, hey, what if I'm calling you about, it's not about burglary, it's about criminal vandalism. These people rammed my gate. They did extensive damage to it, and I know where they live, and it's in the city of Apache Junction. And she goes, ooh, yeah, I think that'll work. She goes, I'm going to send out a police officer to you. And I go, okay. So police officer calls me, asks me, tells me what's going on. I tell him I've got all this information. I've tracked them down. I've got their face on camera breaking into multiple units. I've got their make and model, their plates. They're ramming through the gate, and I know where they are currently at this point. I know their address. And he goes, all right, I'll head over there and ask them a few questions. And I go, just out of my curiosity, you're going to go over there and they're going to lie to you and tell you that they never, did any of that. And then what's going to happen? And he's like, well, I mean, unfortunately, it kind of turns into he said, she said at that point. And I go, dude, I've got them on camera. They're on camera doing it. And he's like, well, don't get excited. I'm going to go talk to him, and I'll give you a call back. And then I never heard back from him again. So this dirtbag, I know the cops aren't going to do anything to him. I know they probably aren't even going to show up if I call. So It's 2 nights in a row. The thing that really angers me is the second night that he did it, he left a bottle of Windex, a roll of toilet papers, and a used condom outside of his storage unit. So I think he broke into that neighbor's unit and then had a celebration. So now I'm angry, and now I'm going to inflict pain. He rides in a crotch rocket and then goes out through a pedestrian gate. Parks his crotch rocket right around the corner to kind of shield himself when he cuts his locks and goes into it. So what I'd like to do is pop around that corner. Oh, I've also found shell casings and the dude's dirtbag crotch rocket rider, so I know he's packing. So my plan is to record him going in, pop around the corner. Kickstand on the bike is on this side, so I'm going to do a hip sled motion on his cycle into him, and then I'm going to disarm him if he goes for a gun with my hockey stick. And I chose the wooden hockey stick for maximum disarmament, because that's what I'm looking to do. I have reason to believe that this man might be armed, and if I try to but if I try to escort him off my property, I am afraid that he's going to shoot me. So if he goes for anything, I plan on taking him down before he has a chance to pull a gun out on me. So that's the plan. And as of right now, if they don't get back to me, that plan is in full effect tonight. If he's dumb enough to break into my property 2 nights in a row at the same exact time using a decoy dummy gate code, he is dumb enough to do it a 3rd time. And if the cops and the system will not do anything to him, I hope to do something to him tonight. He's not going to keep stealing, because a dirtbag's a dirtbag. He won't keep stealing. But I hope to make a mark on him enough to make him think about it the next time he thinks about being a criminal dirtbag. And I plan on recording everything, by the way, so it could be fun tonight. I've got to get my GoPro going, but we'll do some covert ops tonight. So stay tuned. Thanks, and I don't know. I'm just angry. One day later. Welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime. The Break-In, Part 2. Where to begin? It's been a memorable 24 hours. I realized it's been a memorable 2024. But we'll have to dedicate a whole podcast to what has happened so far this year. But I am fairly certain my dirtbag thief, Mr. Caleb Fitzgibbons, is using a decoy unit to gain access to my property and break into other units and his unit. He's cleaned out his unit. He's breaking into other units. My business has handcuffed me. The cops won't do anything. So, the plan was last night I took this suspected decoy unit. The guy's name is Gary in the system. And the guy's name is Gary. At 7 o'clock, I have 24-hour emergency response girls that are answering phone calls. This old guy Gary has showed up at 9:30 the last 2 nights. So last night the plan was I call my customer service rep up and I go, "Hey, are you on tonight?" And she goes, "Yes." And I go, "Okay, this is the plan." I also emailed her the plan. Okay. The plan is we're going to let this guy come up to the unit. I'm going to be outside the property watching him. When he pulls up, he is going to try to use the alias code, Gary's code, which is blocked out and he cannot use. It's a dead code right now. It's flagged, okay? So he's going to call you up. If I'm not there, you're going to try to slow play him as long as you can until I get there, okay? But either way, once I give you verification that I have eyeballs on him, you're going to let him onto the property, okay? And then as long as he goes directly to this other unit and breaks in and goes in there, then we have him dead to rights. We have him using that other unit to get onto the property, and we have him breaking into his unit. I'll have everything videotaped. I'm not going to break his arm or do anything physical. I'm just, at this point, looking to videotape him so I can have evidence and tell him to get the fuck off the property and never come back. So that's the plan. I call her, I email her, and about 10 minutes later, she texts me, and it says, "I called him. He's unsure of anything, really, and is going to send a guy up." So I'm like, "No!" I'm like, "Don't call him. What are you..." But I don't want to yell at her because she's, she's trying to go, she's, trying to do the right thing. She's like calling the customer. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, the way that it's worded, I'm like, man, it sounds like she told him everything. So, and the text said that he's going to send somebody else up there now. So he's probably covering and trying to give himself an excuse, and I don't know. But now, instead of banking on him being there at 9:30, I've got from 6 o'clock on that I've got to be alerted now, hoping, maybe he comes up for a last snatch and grab. If he's smart, he goes, "Okay, they're on to me. I'm done." But so I'm killing time, and 8 o'clock hits. I've got some land up north. And I've been trying to find a guy to come up and clear some dirt for me. It's rocky, but nothing bad. I want to clear out 40 feet and level 40 feet so I can drop a storage container up there. And I've been going back and forth with this guy. He keeps asking me, da-da-da-da-da. He's like, "What are you looking to spend?" And I'm like, "No, tell me what," he's like, "Well, blah, blah, blah." He's asking me questions. Then he's like, "What's your budget?" And I'm like, "No, dude, just tell me, your ad said $200 mini excavator and operator for rent. Is that $200 for an hour? Is that a day? I'm thinking this project is going to be, 3 hours tops." He goes, "Well, I can do it for $5,000. $5,000? I can buy a mini excavator for that." So I've been kind of watching ads and stuff, and last night at like 8 o'clock, this brand new listing comes on for a backhoe trencher, Like, it's an excavator, like a full excavator for $500. And I'm like, what's wrong with it? And the guy goes, it's just the flat tire and dead battery. We can throw 2 batteries in there. It'll start right up, da 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 da. I go, fuck, dude, I really want it, blah, blah, blah. I'm out in AJ. He's way out on the other side of town, an hour drive. I'm like, man, I'm like staking out this thief. He's came in, twice. I'm just fucking torn. I'm calling everybody because I know this is an unbelievable deal. I don't want to let it by. I'm like, dude, I will come first thing in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, like right away. And he's like, man, I'm already getting a ton of interest on it. I'm thinking, yeah, I figure. And I know somebody's going to fucking come. Boom. People out there, if you haven't, like, sold anything or done anything, like, people are doing it. It's a job. They will, somebody will gobble that thing up because it's way more than $5,000. So I'm freaking out. And I'm like, dude, I got to catch this guy. I'm here. And he's like, all right. So I go out at like 9 o'clock to stake out the property. He never shows. So while I'm staking it out, though, this guy goes, you know what? I'm selling this stuff for this lady, and she's really tired. So we're not going to see anybody else tonight. Yes. So I said, all right, I'm going to hit you up first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll come take a look at it. So I was able to go down and buy a fucking backhoe. So now I'm thinking about all this different stuff that I can do up there with this backhoe. I can dig and put in septic. This is just a game changer. I am going to be the hottest neighbor out there. They're losing a crazy fucking neighbor that used to throw bullets in a campfire, and they're gaining a neighbor that has a backhoe. So pretty excited about that. I'm really bummed that we blew the chance to catch my thief, but we are gonna keep doing it. I've emailed all of my customer reps, and we are under the plan, if this guy does show up, then we are going to try to set him up and bust him and get him out. His lock is down, so he can't get in. I checked the locks this morning. He did not get in there last night, so I'm hoping he took a break and is going to try again tonight. We're going to try to do it again tonight. But yeah, got a backhoe. Pretty goddamn excited about that. Now I'm trying to figure out how to change a tire for a trailer. I didn't think it would be that hard. I've exhausted all the common places. I'm going to start hitting up construction and equipment places and see if they can order me a tire. But the break-in drama is to be continued. We're going to try again tonight. I am still waiting on camera footage from my supervisors to figure out how he got in, but I'm still convinced. Oh, baby Zeusy. Can we see Zeusy? Let's show Zeusy. Baby. What are you doing? Smelling my butt cheek. No, you're licking it. Weird. Get out of there, dude. Oh, you're so cute. All right, quick one. I don't know if I had anything else left to talk about, but I wanted to do a update on the break-in. Oh, that's what else I gotta talk about. I want to forget about it. Let me just stop. Let me compose. Sticky lemon scuttles. Don't lick me. Okay, so I went by this morning to go into the other units and take pictures. I popped out Caleb Fitzgibbon's he left. I believe he had a sexual encounter the second night that he accessed his unit and engaged in some fornication after he broke into the other units. There was a bottle of Windex, a roll of paper towels, and a used condom. And the son had baked the condom into some kind of weird gelatinous, sticky plastic thing. It had stuck to the bottom of the door. And the second night that he was there, it fell off. So it was outside. No. When I pushed it, I pulled it up and it was on the door, and then it fell off. When so it wasn't stuck to the door anymore. And then I come back into my house, and I walk in and I grab something to drink, and I look down, and Chico had the condom in his mouth. I stepped on the condom and tracked it into my house. And my dog grabbed it with his mouth. And now I have to burn him, I think. I can't feed my dog chlorine or bleach. So I think I have to set him on fire. I also look on the sole of my shoe and touched it. I touched the condom. So I obviously scrubbed my hands and poured gasoline on them. But Chico is fucking tainted now. And now I kind of want to break this dude's arm again now. Alright, well, I don't know what we're going to do about Chico. As we dance towards the entertaining conclusion of the break-in, we resign ourselves to the fact that 48 hours of sand has passed through the hourglass. Welcome back to the third and final thrilling installment of the break-in. When we last left off, my dog had eaten a used condom, and my customer service phone rep had blown my cover. I had a beautiful sting operation set up to catch this dirtbag, and he got the last laugh by somehow making my dog chew on a used condom. So I threw him away. Just kidding. He's still there. He's still there. He's still there. We're just not doing a lot of kissing, are we? I had a perfect sting operation set up to catch this guy using somebody else's code to get into his unit and then breaking into other units. And my customer service rep calls him up and told him what's going on. So he did not show up that night. I went and staked out the property. There's a weed dispensary right across the street. So I hang out with my boys on the sidewalk and just bullshit with him. But he didn't show. The second night that I did it, at about 9:40, this car comes pulling up. And it looks like a little tiny compact, but it's a weird compact. We're across the street with my two guys, And I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down, you know. So I call, car pulls up, but it does not go to the gate box. And the original plan was to have his code red flagged, so he would have to call customer service. And then customer service would let me know. I would run up, confirm that it is Caleb Fitzgibbons, the dirtbag, and then we would let him into the property. He would go to his unit instead of the unit that he's using the code for. So that would get us with using a false code and trespassing and everything like that. And then we would know that it was the other code. So I text her and I say, hey, he's here. He has not put his code in yet. So just take the block off of his code so it'll work. Because I'm here, it's him, da 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 da. She goes, okay, sounds good. And then about a minute later, she texts back, okay, I popped the gate for him. So I'm like, no! Me and the other guys across the street are like watching. So we're watching this dude in his car. The gate starts to open and he looks around like this, you know. We're far away, but we could see the shadow through the light of him looking around. So the gate opens, stays open for a little bit, and then it closes. He does not go in. While it's closing, he's like looking around. And then he just slowly backs up and takes off in a hurry. So I say goodbye to my guys. I go and I sit in my truck, and this white Saab comes pulling in quick, and this little tiny fucker gets out. And I'm like, man, is that Caleb Fitzgibbons? Is this the car from across the way? Because it looked like a little compact, but it wasn't, an American thing that I recognized. So I wait until he goes in. It's 10 o'clock. He runs into the dispensary. He's like, oh, I got time. Runs in the dispensary, gets his shit, gets back in his car. Well, I time it, so I'm reversing right by his car so I can get a good shot of him as he's coming out. And I got my windows down. So he comes out and goes to grab his car door, and he looks over at me, and I can see him. It was like it was a recognition, you know what I mean? Like it was and so I take off and I drive real slow on my way out just to see what way he's gonna go. And he comes out a little bit later, and so I see him way behind me, and so I pull into a driveway real quick and just turn off my lights. And he goes by me, and I want to say he slowed down by my vehicle, but I'm not sure. But either way, he goes by, I wait for him to turn, I start up real quick and take off and then turn, and I'm well behind him when I'm following him. But he did a pro move. It's a 2-lane road, late at night, nobody was around. I'm in the right lane following him. He slows down a little bit and lets me get up to him, and then he just pulls over into the left and stops in the middle of this road. So I gotta go by him, and when I go by him, he's got the window down too, and I got my window down, and I gave him one of these, so he knows. But I pulled over then on the next street over on the shoulder, and then he pretended to pull over, and then U-turned, and then took off. So, but now that our cover is blown, I need to somehow attach him to this decoy unit that he's using, because we can't get rid of this other unit unless there's proof that he's affiliated with the thief. So I move this guy, and the decoy guy keeps saying that he's old and he's frail. He's rented from us for 3 months now. There's nothing in his unit. He can't get his lock off his unit, and he's accessed it like 8 times since then. So So I move him over to my location where I can watch him, and I tell him, I have the customer care reps call him up and say, hey, you're old. We know you're struggling. We want to move you over to this other location. It's newer. All the doors are better, easier to open. There's a caretaker over there. He can help you out with anything, and he accepts. I know that this is opening me up to having the thief over on my side, but on my home turf, that'd be fun for me. But he accesses it that night, and I watched the cameras. He got in and out real quick. I watched the cameras, and it looks like it's a white Saab, which is what Caleb was driving the night that my cover was blown again by my customer service rep. But as soon as he drives in, I see that he's got somebody with him, and whoever's with him gets out. He's younger, wiry looking. I'm pretty sure it's Caleb. And when the young kid gets out, he looks like he kind of cases everything too. So we're gonna call Old Man River, and if he lies about having a helper or knowing this kid, then we're gonna flag him and just hopefully pressure him to get the hell out of here, because he still hasn't put anything in his unit. But hopefully he knows the guy, and we let him know that his helper, I hope it's not his family. I'm sure it's just an old frail guy that got connected with this guy who's a thief. So hopefully we can keep the old guy from getting anything stolen or anything else stolen from him. But that pretty much brings our story to an end. There may be a little snippet and update, but I think that's pretty much it. We had 2 really good plans to catch this dude, and then just torpedoed by our own kind. She's definitely not making my Black Op team. In related news, I was talking to a girl on one of the dating apps, and things were going really well. She's having a hard time, and we were talking about, who knows what, but things were really, really, really good. We were talking about everything. She had told me she's got a kid. She's got a dirtbag ex who's a trucker who, never gives her any money, and da 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 da. But I have in my back pocket that I'm fucking ready to take care of somebody. Like, if they're all right with, ultimately living up on a mountain, running a dog rescue, then I'm your guy. So, but she said, I bought a backhoe, and I sent her a picture. I said, hey, I bought a new toy, and she was not happy about it. You could tell it was like, oh my God, how much was that? I said, the price, and she's like, wow, it's a lot. Seems like a lot of work. Is that the best, you didn't want to spend that on anything else? And I didn't respond to that. So then the next day is when she was like, hey, what are you doing? And I go, I gotta go over and check these units. I've been doing a stakeout the last couple of nights. She said, stakeout for what? I said, this dude's been breaking into all my units the last couple of nights. And she said, that's sad. And I go, yeah, he's been causing a lot of heartbreak. And she goes, well, he's probably a tweaker. And I go, yeah. And she goes, well, he needs help. And I'm like, he needs help if I break his arm with my hockey stick. And, that just set everything off. It was, tough guy, huh? And I'm like, no, not a tough guy at all. But, If the cops aren't going to do anything, then I need to set a precedent. One, I hope to teach him a lesson. He won't because he's a dirtbag. But two, it'll teach him not to steal from me or my company. And that comes to, blah, 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 vigilante, and then it devolves into personal pot shots at me pretty quickly. Loser, dirtbag, old, gross, failed actor. I have no idea because I just unearthed the Facebook too, but these girls automatically go to, I obviously freaking adore my dogs, but they all, every time I get into an argument with somebody, comes down to molesting these dogs. What the fuck is wrong with all of these girls? I have a whole folder on Facebook. I didn't realize that there's actually 3 different channels of Facebook. There's messages from the people that you're friends with, and then there's the other thing, and then there's a spam folder too, that they automatically block stuff off on. So I went into my spam folder, and it was just all messages about me raping my dog. Or what's even more fucked up is pretty much all of them were deleted because it went against community standards. So if it didn't block out raping your dogs, what the hell was it blocking out? What the hell were they saying to me? So, but those are basically just my arguments that I get into about racism and swine rings. Those are my 2 things that usually get them so hot where they message me. But I've got to start checking that more because I don't mind engaging in some arguments behind the scenes. I need to stop it. So, but anyways, the girl is a total weirdo when it comes to life, I guess. I assume her ex-boyfriend, her baby daddy, is probably a recovering tweaker. Either that or a brother maybe. But it was a hot point. I basically said, hey, I know it's your time of the month, but you're fucking crazy. And if I have to deal with this every 30 days, then thanks for showing yourself. You just pissed off one of the guys, a guy that could really help you and possibly change your life. And good luck on your continued downward spiral. I peaced out. So, black. So, back to reset again. And the crook got away. We knew he was going to get away, but the whole point is to get him off. So, we're close. We're painting him into corners. But once again, this is, just a perfect microcosm of, society, businesses. I should be able to say, you're a fucking thief, and you're helping them. You're gone. Here's a refund, whatever. We can't do that. I have to document all of this fucking shit. And because of it, this guy has broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different units multiple times. He's cut off his locks at least 20 times. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sitting here with my thumb up my ass. I'm a dirty dog. Baby, why did you have to do that? But that brings our story to a close. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tell me how much of an asshole I am and how old and gross I am in the comments. The failed actor thing they always go to. Raping my dog? Fucking nutsos. Yeah, like and subscribe and share and do all that also.